A man sails across scary waters. He changes the world forever. Was Christopher Columbus a hero or a bad guy? Today, we will talk about this famous person. The answer might shock you. Christopher Columbus was very brave for his time. In 1492, most people thought the world was smaller. Many sailors were scared to sail far from land. They worried about sea monsters and falling off the earth. Columbus had a different idea. He thought he could reach Asia by sailing west. Think about trying something new today. Maybe learning to ride a bike or talking in front of your class. It feels scary, right? Now think about risking your life on scary oceans. Columbus got 3 ship captains to join his dangerous trip. He sailed for weeks without seeing land. Columbus faced bad storms and angry crew members. His sailors wanted to go back many times. Food was running low. Fresh water was hard to find. But Columbus kept going into scary waters. When he reached the Caribbean islands, he thought he found Asia. He was wrong about where he was. But his courage opened up a whole new world. His 4 trips connected 2 lands that had been apart for thousands of years. Columbus brought back news of gold, spices, and new lands. European kings and queens got very excited. Soon, other sailors followed his path across the Atlantic Ocean. Without Columbus being brave, American history would be very different. European people might have come much later. The mixing of different people, foods, and ideas might have been delayed for hundreds of years. His sailing skills were great for that time. He used simple tools like compasses and stars to find his way. GPS did not exist back then. Good maps of the ocean did not exist either. Columbus made mistakes about where places were. But his willingness to take risks changed everything. He proved that crossing the Atlantic was possible. This opened doors for future trips and discoveries. But here is the big question. Does being brave make someone a hero? Can courage excuse other bad actions? What do you think matters more? Columbus brought terrible pain to Native American people. When Columbus came to the Caribbean, millions of Native people already lived there. They had rich cultures, languages, and ways of life. Many groups lived peacefully. They had their own leaders, religions, and customs. Think if strangers came to your house tomorrow. They said they now owned your house and your street. They made you follow their rules. They took your things without asking. This is like what happened to Native Americans. Columbus right away claimed these lands for Spain. He did not ask the people who lived there. He treated the native people like they belonged to the Spanish king. Columbus forced many Native Americans to be slaves. He made them look for gold in dangerous mines. Thousands died from being too tired and harsh work. Columbus also let his men take Native American women and children as slaves. He sent hundreds of people back to Europe in chains. Sickness was another big problem. Europeans brought diseases like smallpox and measles. Native Americans had never had these sicknesses before. Whole villages died. Some smart people think 90% of Native people died within 100 years. Columbus wrote in his own diary about violence against Native people. He talked about cutting off hands as punishment for not finding enough gold. He said it was okay to treat people badly to stay in control. The Spanish people who came after Columbus kept doing these bad things. They broke down temples, burned books, and stopped native religions. Whole cultures were lost forever. Languages died when their last speakers died. Columbus also brought European animals, plants, and farming ways. This sounds good, but hurt local nature. Native plants and animals were pushed out. Traditional hunting and farming became much harder. Many Native American tribes tried to fight these changes. They fought to protect their families and land. But European weapons and diseases made fighting very hard. So here is the hard question. Can we celebrate Columbus exploring while knowing the harm he caused? Should we judge old people by today's rules? Columbus started the biggest trade of people, animals, and ideas in human history. Before 1492, the Americas and Europe grew apart for thousands of years. Columbus's trips connected these worlds forever. Smart people call this the Columbian Exchange. It changed life on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean. Think about your favorite foods. Pizza with tomatoes, chocolate chip cookies, French fries. None of these would exist without Columbus's trips. Tomatoes came from the Americas to Europe. Cocoa beans traveled the same way. Potatoes crossed the ocean too. Europeans brought wheat, rice, and coffee to the Americas. They brought horses, cattle, and pigs. These animals changed Native American life. Plains tribes used horses for hunting and fighting. Cattle and pigs gave new sources of food. But the trade was not just about food and animals. New ideas traveled across the oceans too. European farming ways spread to the Americas. Native American crops like corn and potatoes fed growing European populations. Columbus's trips led to permanent settlements in the Americas. Spanish, Portuguese, French, and English colonies were built. These colonies became the start of modern countries. The United States, Canada, Mexico, and South American nations all trace back to this time. Trade routes grew between Europe and the Americas. Ships carried silver, gold, sugar, and tobacco to Europe. European-made goods went to the American colonies. This trade made many European business people very rich. The mixing of cultures created totally new societies. Spanish and Native American cultures mixed in Mexico. African, European, and Native influences mixed in the Caribbean. These combinations created new languages, foods, music, and ways of life. Science knowledge grew fast. European smart people learned about new plants, animals, and medicines. American crops like potatoes and corn helped feed Europe's growing population. Without these foods, European cities could not have grown so big. Columbus's legacy shaped the modern world we live in today. Global trade, culture mixing, and world connections all started with his trips. But this brings up an important question. Can something be historically important and morally wrong at the same time? How do we balance progress with the cost of human pain? The way we tell Columbus's story has changed a lot over time. For many years, American schools taught that Columbus was a complete hero. Children learned songs about his brave trip in 1492. October 12th became Columbus Day, a national holiday. Statues of Columbus appeared in cities across America. Think about how superhero movies show their characters. Heroes are shown as brave and good. Bad guys are shown as evil and wrong. For many years, Columbus got the superhero treatment in American schools and culture. This simple story ignored what happened to Native Americans. Native people knew that Columbus was not a hero to their ancestors. Their family stories told different stories. These voices were often left out of history books. In recent years, historians began telling more complete stories. They included Native American views alongside European views. Modern textbooks talk about both Columbus's good deeds and his harmful actions. Some cities have replaced Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day. This change recognizes the cultures that existed before Columbus came. It honors the survivors and their families today. But not everyone agrees with these changes. Some people believe Columbus deserves recognition for his historical importance. They argue that his trips led to good developments. Others think focusing on negative parts ignores his good deeds. Different communities remember Columbus in different ways today. Italian Americans often see him as a symbol of their heritage. Many Native Americans view him as a symbol of destruction. Hispanic communities have mixed feelings about his Spanish connections. Museums now show more balanced exhibits about Columbus and early exploration. They show artifacts from both European and Native American cultures. Visitors can learn about different views on the same historical events. Schools teach students to think carefully about historical figures. Teachers encourage students to consider different viewpoints. They ask students to weigh both good and bad impacts. This approach helps us understand history's difficulty. Real people are not simply heroes or bad guys. They make both good and bad choices. So here is the final question. How should we remember complicated historical figures like Columbus? What is the fairest way to teach about the past? Christopher Columbus was brave and changed the world through exploration. But he also caused terrible harm to Native American people. His trips created global connections that still shape our world today. How we remember him shows our changing understanding of history. The truth is hard. Columbus was not a perfect hero or a complete bad guy. He was a flawed human being whose actions had huge effects for millions of people. What do you think? Should Columbus be remembered as a hero or villain? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe for more historical debates.